That's my favorite. When you get the deep fried
Yes.
microphone memes.
Yes.
Those are my favorite.
Just like Chippo all the time, whenever Chippo yells. And then he just
No, like worse. It's like regular talking, and it's like deep fried. He starts yelling. It's just incomprehensible buzzing.
Yes.
The Big Shell. 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 The Big Shell.
All right. I think we're good. I'm gonna set a timer because I only want it to be like 20 minutes or so. I don't want to talk forever. So, someone.
The world's shortest podcast. There we go.
2 hours later.
Someone introduce Bantha Poodoo. Here we're doing Bantha Poodoo.
Okay, we're going in. All right, let's go. Let's bring up the old Wikipedia.
Yes,
Bantha
quickly.
Poodoo was a low-altitude assault transport which was stationed in the Jedi Temple at the time. Jedi Master Plo Koon watched an infiltration party depart for their mission to rescue Master Evan Piel from the separatist prison known as the Citadel. The gunship had customized nose art of a winged bantha dropping a pair of bombs.
It's supposed to be Bantha poop, I thought. I thought that was the whole thing.
No, that's bantha fodder.
Wait, so Bantha Poodoo is a ship?
Poodoo. Yeah, it's a ship.
Oh my god.
It's got laser turrets.
Wait, what?
Yeah, man, it's an infantry transport.
Wait, no.
Gotta get back to the Bantha
I
Poodoo.
thought they called someone Bantha Poodoo one time. Didn't someone use an insult and say, like, something Bantha Poodoo, and I thought it was like an insult?
Wait.
Yeah,
You're right,
Star
it's
Wars
Sebulba.
game.
Wait, okay, Wikipedia is cooked. Alright, because then I click on Bantha fodder, and then I think Poodoo is fodder, but in Sebulba's language. He said, Yakatu Bantha Poodoo. You're Bantha fodder. He probably said that to Anakin when they were, like, racing.
So
Now this is pod
Yeah,
racing.
I looked up Bantha Poodoo, and it's Bantha fodder is the first thing that comes up.
Oh,
And then Bantha
it's
Poodoo.
Huttese.
So you're telling...
Alternatively, Poodoo or fodder in Huttese was used for the same purpose.
So, the ship is still called Bantha fodder. Bantha shit.
Yeah, they literally called a ship Bantha shit.
Get in the Bantha shit right now. It's dropping
what
shit.
What are
you know what I mean?
y'all's...
It's a transport starship. It's dropping shit, okay?
What?
It's dropping
I don't...
Poodoo.
What?
You're in it, you're Poodoo.
I mean, honestly, what are y'all's thoughts on the Star Wars? What is it called? EU now or extended? Whatever it's called now, extended universe, whatever they call it.
SWEU.
As a military man himself, I'm insulted. I'm looking at this.
SWECU.
It's giving the crew the pilot, the co-pilot, and the gunners, but not the infantry. I want to know how much infantry fits in a fucking low-altitude assault transport. It doesn't tell me shit.
In the Bantha Poodoo, you want to know how much fits in the Bantha Poodoo?
How many of these NWAS fit in a Bantha Poodoo?
I want to know how many NWAS fit in the Bantha Poodoo.
This isn't an ANWA transport, alright?
Alright.
I mean...
Transport and Poodoo.
I mean, it says pilot, co-pilot, gunner,
Co-pilot,
and then
gunner,
2 to 4
Gun
optional.
2 to 4 optional.
So it sounds like 4 to 6.
I used to be...
I would say 4 to
It's an
6 based
infantry
on-
transport. It's 4 to 6. It's not
Oh,
an
true.
infantry
Is it
transport.
it's a
Oh, yeah,
nickname, right?
Okay, that's just the crew. Okay, crew is 4 to 6, but yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
It does not give
Wait, let me see.
what's going on?
So it's a
I'm not
nickname,
really
right?
the actual thing.
The LAAT,
Oh, pass. Okay, here we go. I went to the actual
Rathana
ship.
Heavy Engineering.
It's 30 troopers. 30 clone troopers.
All right.
Ed, what is your opinion on the Star Wars Extended Universe?
The Bantha Poodoo looks like a binder clip.
No. You mean like... I
mean, he's not wrong.
well...
Okay, I'm more confused now because I see the cargo capacity. It's 30 kilograms.
Wait, 30. Are you sure it's...
30 kilograms cargo capacity. Then
That's like 5... That's nothing.
It's nothing.
That doesn't make any sense. Okay, is the
What?
Star Wars...
No.
Is the Star Wars EU actually like that? Like the writers are that bad? That's what I'm trying to get out of here is like, where are we at now?
Well, there's crew and there's cargo. I understand it being separate, but how could cargo be 30 kilograms?
But that's impossible. Like
We're
that's literally
transporting
impossible.
all the troops, and
Bro.
that's it.
The air weighs 30 kilograms inside of the
Come on, man.
like,
That's like, you know how much a F-150 carries? You telling me that thing ain't better than a in a truck
Well,
made by
I
some
assume
redneck
30
in the
kilogram
70s.
cargo capacity is a fully loaded LAAT, alright?
Wait.
It's
I would
still
expect that
kind
to
of
say
shit.
30 ton. I would expect it to be 30 ton
Yeah.
payload, not 30
I
kilogram
mean, the
payload.
payload's probably, let's say, the cargo capacity with the full 30 clone trooper force in it, it's probably 30 kilograms. Wouldn't make any sense because that's not a lot of extra room.
That's so light.
Let me check the
You get
footnotes.
15. You get 15
It
clone
says
troopers.
maximum atmospheric speed is 388 miles per hour. So,
That ain't shit. What?
Have you guys read any of the Star Wars
so if that's
books?
the case, if it has that little carrying capacity, that means that it ain't got shit for torque.
Yeah, like I don't. Have you guys read any of the Star Wars EU shit or anything besides? I used to be obsessed with just reading Wikipedia like 15 years back in the day. Like
I've read like half
Yeah.
of one Star Wars book, and I couldn't tell you what it was about anymore because I don't know. That was it.
I always thought about doing it, but that was back when I was like readings for nerds, so I didn't.
I've read.
Back with these, back before Disney decided the EU was kind of shit and rebranded it on their own.
Yeah, I mean, I read it. I forget what it's called, but it's like the most famous trilogy in EU. That I think it was made in like late '80s, early '90s when there was basically like no Star Wars stuff, and it's like it's kind of was considered canon until Disney
Star Wars
messed it up.
Legends, formerly known as Expanding Universe.
Yeah, that's what they call it now. But yeah, whatever that trilogy is, it's Heir to the Empire. Maybe that's what the trilogy is called. But there's 3 books, and it's basically what happens after Episode 6, and it's good. I think it's worth reading. Everything else I've read that's Star Wars EU is just
My understanding of the state of the Star Wars extended cinematic universe is that Zoomers like the sequels, but normal people
wait. So
don't and prefer the old school ones.
really, so like, are you saying for the newest 3 trilogy movies, like Zoomers like them?
Yeah, like basically like Star Wars fans under the age of 25 like the sequels.
Is that like how?
Why?
That actually makes me very that's interesting because
All these Marvel fans just Cro-Magnon brains going to Star Wars like, ooh, shiny
mean,
Hey,
lightsaber.
don't include me with these ingrates, all right?
I mean, I really like the
I'm sorry, all these
prequels.
under 25 Star Wars Cro-Magnons. All right.
I shouldn't even say I really like the prequels when they came out, but I was, when you're a kid, I mean, everyone, I don't know what y'all thought about the prequels, but I feel like when you're a kid, I just was like, yeah, these are movies I watch. I like them, but like,
I think that's the reason. Like you don't when you're a kid, you're just like, all right, whatever. It's cool. But then like you get older and you realize, oh my god, like you know what I mean. Like once we were in college and we started watching the prequels again, we were like, yo,
what the fuck is this?
who let George Lucas cook?
Let
Lucas
George cook. Let George cook.
The prequels were made, or the stuff was made, the originals were made, and then everyone's like, we should probably let him cook, and then he cooked, and then we were like, oh, he wasn't the actual chef.
Yeah.
He was.
His wife was cooking.
The only person who should have been cooking in the kitchen was Tartakovsky.
Yeah, because
Everyone else should not have.
that
been
was the
cooking.
best thing to come out of 2003 Star Wars. Basically, was Dexter's Lab Star Wars or Samurai Jack Star Wars.
The Big Shell.
We're making a huge cut here. Everyone, we're not actually cutting. Pretend like we were talking about something. What were we talking about?
Bantha Poodoo.
40 pounds of pussy and ass.
40 pounds of pussy and ass.
Fucker gets more pussy than a toilet seat.
This is no
all right,
longer
what's-
your
Two
film.
drumsticks with a single fang tooth smile.
All right, we're entering the David Lynch zone now.
Speaking of David Lynch, I actually did want to mention his existence. Considering we are, I'm going to call us movie buffs. We've watched like 10 movies in a year.
I've watched a couple more than that.
No,
I
that
consider
doesn't
myself a voting member of the Academy. Yes.
count. A card-holding Academy member.
Yes.
We're all honorary voting members of the Academy.
Yeah.
The Motion Picture Association of America.
Yes.
I've given Harvey Weinstein a reach around. You know?
Harvey Weinstein's giving me a reach around, son.
Wait, which
Really
one
in
is
this.
worse?
I've watched both of these happen.
I got casted by Harvey Weinstein, so you know.
Easy there, J Law.
Make that what you will.
Which one is
there,
worse?
J-Law.
Being forced to give Weinstein a reach around, or him giving you a reach around? Which one is
Forced to
worse?
have Weinstein give me a reach around is definitely the worst.
Or being forced to be in the Hunger Games franchise.
Wait,
I mean, that makes
I'm
money.
not going to comment on that. No comment on that. All right.
Lenny Kravitz was in the Hunger Games, and that's fine by me.
That's us. Now I'm interested. Now I've got a lot of questions about Lenny Kravitz.
All right, Daniel, movies and David Lynch.
Yeah, we
We're
were
going
off topic.
I'm scared.
What? So we've got a wheel of death for movies. It picks movies for us. Everyone knows this. Blah blah blah. We put movies you want to see on a wheel. We spin it and we watch what shows up. Right?
Yes.
We
Yeah.
used to have David Lynch as its own category, and then by the
The only problem is we summoned the curse of David Lynch, and we went through all his movies.
somehow
very
we
quickly.
watched all of his movies within like 10 spins.
In like 10 spins. We watched every single David Lynch.
It was just
So-
every Lynch movie back to back to back to back to back.
Like literally,
Just
like didn't we
letting
check the
them cook.
odds and it was like 1 in like 500 that would have
It's
happened.
because it's just all the David Lynch movies, and then Evangelion's been on there for the longest time. It's not been chosen once.
I just don't even. Again, the odds are
You've not
impossible.
seen the last movie of Evangelion, and I'm sad.
Hey, if it comes up,
It's
we'll
just
watch
sitting
it.
on it's sitting on the wheel, just not getting picked.
Yeah.
We got Shin Godzilla before that, like Anno's
Yes.
version of
Yeah.
Godzilla before you got the final Evangelion film.
So
Allegedly
my
final.
overall question is, well, me and David have kind of talked about this, but what director, if we are going to fill the David Lynch spot, or like what should go in that? And me and David are kind of said the other day that it should be what's his name, Halloween director and the Thing director.
John Carpenter?
John Carpenter. Yes. So we need to watch all of the Kurt Russell, John Carpenter collabs.
Plus,
When you
just
get,
all-
I need Snake Plissken injected into my veins. All right.
Oh god. Oh, it's all horror
No,
movies.
it-
Oh, my heart can't
Oh
take
No.
it.
no. So the one I want to see specifically was, I think it's John Carpenter's They Live. That
have
should
you
be
heard
on
of
the
this,
wheel.
Ed?
I have not.
Oh my
Someone
God.
describe just a small bit of
Okay,
They Live.
so They
Like a
Live.
elevator pitch.
They Live is a 1988 American science fiction action film written and directed by John Carpenter, based on the 1963 short story 8 O'Clock in the Morning by Ray Nelson. Now, Ray Nelson is a science fiction author and cartoonist who has also frequently worked with Philip K. Dick, who made Do We Dream of Electric Sheep, which obviously was the inspiration for Blade Runner. The movie stars Roddy Piper, the wrestler, and Keith David. The film follows
Keith
an unnamed
David and Roddy
drifter.
Piper.
The film follows an unnamed drifter who discovers through special sunglasses that the ruling class are aliens concealing their appearance and manipulating people to consume, breed, and conform to the status quo via subliminal messages and mass media. So basically, Roddy Piper is just a homeless dude. He randomly comes across some sunglasses.
Oh, so like real life.
Yeah. And he puts on the sunglasses and he'll just see people look like fucking Tales of the Crypt Keeper.
Oh my
like
God.
weird alien skull dudes. And randomly he'll see messages on things. Like one time he went to try and he saw like people walking down the street and they like looked like these fucking skeleton aliens. I mean, he would take the glasses off and they looked normal. Like, what the hell? And he put the glasses back on. And there's like the scene where like he was at a newsstand and the guy would he had like a magazine. The guy was like, "Hey man, you gonna pay for that?" And he had cash in his hand. And he looked at the cash with the glasses on and it said, "This money is your god." And then he took them off and it looked like normal money again. So
Oh my god.
But
that's the only thing I've seen of it. But yeah, there's a lot of consumerism, anti-corporation messages in it, which is pretty interesting. and not surprising coming from someone who worked with Philip K. Dick.
Well, there's a lot of like famous lines in it, and I won't say them because it seems like it's kind of, I can't tell, but I've seen clips that make me laugh at the movie. So whether it's serious or not or whatever, it's a combination. It's something we need to watch.
It's like a very 80s movie. It's got some cheesiness, but also some like interesting, concepts and talking points about life. So,
and it's got fucking Roddy Piper as the main guy.
Yeah, and you got Roddy Piper as the main guy. So,
Ed, do you have any opinion on John Carpenter or any of his movies? I should say specifically.
I really like the Escape from series.
They're really good. That's all I got. They're pretty good. That's all I gotta say.
This is my only John Carpenter experience, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, because Zach said, he mostly makes horror stuff, but not exactly. I mean, it's obviously Halloween and The Thing, and I forgot what it's called. It's called like the End of the Earth trilogy or something, and it's The Thing. It's Prince of Darkness, I think it's called. Is that what it's called? It's The Thing, Prince of Darkness, and The Mouth of Madness.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
And those are both like basically his three best horror movies. Well, outside of Halloween, and all of them, of course. If you've never seen The Thing or any John Carpenter stuff, they're really fucked up. Just put it that way.
He made Big Trouble in Little China as well.
Yes, and that too.
Oh my god.
You made Big Trouble.
So this is why I'm putting John Carpenter down as my vote for who needs to go on the wheel.
John Carpenter's the GOAT. We put him in there.
So, and I don't know if you guys know this, but he makes all of his music for his movies. So those like insane like synth sounding soundtracks that he has for his movies. He composes them too. So also his son is a musician and composer as well, and works on I didn't know that
stuff with him. Yeah.
What is the best movie soundtrack? Ed, go.
Oh, fuck.
Zach, go.
Blade Runner 2049.
That was fast, dude.
Damn, that's I can't argue with that.
The Lion King.
I don't even know.
The Lion King. That's the best.
Oh my lord! Yeah, Grease is the best movie soundtrack.
Yes.
What's funny is I was like unable to think of a movie, but Grease was one of the few that
it's like what's a musical? What's a musical? What's a musical?
Did you guys see the Super Bowl commercial where they did like they did Summer Lovin' with JD and Turk from Scrubs and also John Travolta? And for a second I didn't even realize it was John Travolta because he's bald and has a beard now, and it was just he was wearing the leather jacket from Grease, and I was like, what does he do? Like in my brain, like it like got discombobulated because I actually thought in my head as I was watching it, I was like, why is John Travolta wearing a leather jacket and singing the Grease song when he is the main character in fucking Grease? Like that's how different he looks now from then. Like the fact that he's
does
just
he
like
look better than he did like
bald
5 years ago though?
Yes, honestly,
because 5 years ago he looked
at his age.
bad.
At his age, he should be bald with a beard. It looks better. Like when you're bald and and you have a beard, like you look better as an older person than if you don't. So
I'm just gonna say it. I just want John Travolta to be. I just want him to be himself and be comfortable. I'm not gonna go into any more detail. I just want John. You can. This is a shout out. You can be yourself.
John, just
Just
rock Rosino, baby.
Would you like to see Mads Mikkelsen be a drug dealer?
Yes.
Well, Nicholas Winding Refn is your director for the series called Pusher.
Wait, so it's just a series of Mad
A
Mikkelsen?
drug pusher grows increasingly desperate after a botched deal leaves him with a large debt and a ruthless drug lord. He missed 3 movies.
My favorite Mads Mikkelsen line is, "Give me back my baby."
Yes.
And that's all I'll say about that.
The only one I can think of that off the top of my head would be that. Yes.
And he also directed Drive. So
that explains a lot.
Yeah. So
I never did finish Death Stranding.
Me neither.
no one has.
No, wait, David
I
has.
think one person has.
I beat the whole
David has finished Death
thing.
Stranding.
David has, and he keeps yelling at us to finish it, and he keeps yelling a Kojima quote about how Death Stranding is like climbing Mount Everest because it sucks, but at least it's cool when you get to the top. And I'm like, that's not, that's not, like, that doesn't make me want to play it. But it makes me laugh because it's Kojima.
You just don't understand Kojima-san, okay?
It's like slamming your dick in the car door like 1,000 times, and then eventually you
come
come.
at the
It's
end.
like, yeah, but
You have to respect
slam
how
my
he
dick.
wants to spread his
You didn't
meat.
remember the Titans?
God damn it. I mean, ever since David got that Kojima book, he's just been saying random ass fucking phrases, and I'm like, what are you talking about?
memes.
Oh, I've never told Ed this, so I've talked to Daniel about this. So in the book that I have that I've read, it's essentially a collection of essays and interviews along with personal anecdotes that of all the media that Kojima has consumed over the years that inspired him to make some of his most pivotal works. And one of my favorite ones reading about was, I don't remember the name of the book, but essentially he talked about how one of his favorite books was a book that he read where the premise of it is a guy, like, I don't remember how it happens, but let's just say he essentially got isekai'd, but instead of getting hit by Truck Coon and going into a magical fairyland, he gets transported into the body of a cat, and he now has to live as a cat. And he comes across this older female cat that is essentially like a mother/mentor to him and teaches him how to survive as a cat. And at the end of him describing this, Kojima basically says, and that was my inspiration for the boss and Big Boss in Metal Gear Solid 3. And I was just like, Kojima, what the fuck are you on?
And the thing is, I completely understand.
About a fucking cat mentoring another cat, and you were like, you know what? This is how I'm going to make my Cold War James Bond action espionage multi-blockbuster AAA franchise video game about.
I am convinced that Kojima is just Japanese David
He is.
Lynch.
After watching the David Lynch movies, I mean, he might not be like a direct analog, but he's close.
That wasn't the one, but he's the Japanese version.
They're in the same ballpark. We'll put it like they're driving the same bus, you know.
Yeah.
It's just after watching some of those David Lynch movies, I understand, and that's when David told me that story, and I went, you know, I understand Kojima more now. Like that actually, even though I that's insane, I understand him more after hearing that.
But to be honest, when I read that book, I felt more like I understood Kojima as Japanese Tarantino than anything, because his mastery of making stuff comes from the fact that he's consumed or read almost every type of story you can think of, and you basically, if you plagiarize 1% of everything ever made, you essentially make a brand new thing that is unique in its own right. And I think that's because, like, Tarantino's basically seen every single movie like ever made. Like, he has like one of the largest. I'm pretty sure the only person who has a larger movie collection than him is Kim Jong-un. So that's another topic. but basically, the fact that like when you talk to them, you know he knows like Tarantino knows almost every film ever.
Not only has
he
watched all like, that, but he also
Silent Era to like now
or whatever, and he remembers everything perfectly about those movies and shit. So.
Quentin Tarantino did 2 episodes of CSI.
Like directed?
Yes. I guess. I just looked it up. He's credited for 2 episodes of CSI.
Can we...
Season 5, episode 24, and season 5,
can
episode
we please...
25.
I'm begging everyone, can we please put Quentin Tarantino
Yes, director Quentin Tarantino.
on the list, but it's only the 2 episodes of CSI that we watch when it rolls.
No.
While investigating
CSI.
a case,
Yes.
Nick is abducted and is buried alive in a special coffin while his team takes unorthodox steps to try and find him.
That's all I want. Is to
If
watch
I'm going to watch an
this.
episode of CSI, I'd rather be at my grandma's house eating some food, okay?
Yeah. Where the natural place to watch CSI
Yes.
is.
The natural place to watch CSI, soap operas, and Steven Seagal films.
Yes.
Because
my
grandma
really
is a
Steven Seagal, like
huge
20 years ago.
My grandma is a huge
Good
Steven
old
Seagal fan.
Steven
Wait, is she really?
Seagal.
Oh,
My
what is it?
kind 85-year-old, extremely southern black, every Sunday for the last 60 years, church-going grandma loves watching Steven Seagal movies.
I mean, his old movies are probably pretty good. It's just you get too new with Steven Seagal, you starts getting.
If you get past 2005,
Starting to notice.
everyone knows he's just sitting down the entire movie. That's the meme. Like he films the movie in such a way where he can.
When
sit
you're an
down the whole
Aikido
time.
master, you can take
He's
down
always-
everyone within your vicinity while sitting down. Okay.
Yes. Also, he has that weird, fake black accent that he's been
Okay.
putting on.
Okay,
Black
so
soul accent
have you
he's
heard-
been developing
Have you heard
over
the
time.
music he made? He made a what's the word I'm looking for? God, he made a fucking he made a Jamaican
Oh no!
dance. He made a Jamaican dance hall song.
Please
yes.
stop.
Yeah.
Please
Yep.
stop.
He actually
We're
did.
gonna all go listen to
It
that.
sounds.
Okay.
It sounds so bad.
Homework
I've learned
for
so
the
much.
week.
I've learned so
Go
much
listen to
more than I
Steven
needed to
Seagal.
learn about Steven Seagal just from watching Hassan watch the Steven Seagal Lawman.
Oh God!
That show is the most unhinged show I've ever seen in my life. It's supposed to be it's supposed to be kind of like Cops but instead for some reason they allow Steven Seagal to do things that cops do, which I don't understand the legal. I don't how. I don't
don't
There's
understand
have
how
legal
that's legal.
implications there. How that
Yeah,
works.
I don't understand how that works at all. But they had
Don't worry
him
about
being quote unquote instructing the police officers on SWAT techniques. I was like, he's not he doesn't do counter-terrorist SWAT stuff. He's just some random McDojo Aikido guy. Like, what are you doing? Like, why is this guy literally instructing police departments?
You
Obviously-
forget that.
Because people love Steven
First of
Seagal,
all-
and then
First of all, the only reason why it's valid is because, of course, he does it in New Orleans. All right, so it's just. And
Of
okay,
course.
so here's the thing.
there's why he gets away with it.
So
it's New Orleans.
the reason I bring this up because Daniel, you talked about
Wait,
the
was this
the
after
fake-
Katrina?
Yes, it was in 07. It was
What
like
is
2-3
that
years
mean?
after. It's right after Katrina. He actually in the show randomly visits people who are rebuilding their house from Katrina and
No.
and does a little photo shoot and it's like, oh yeah, I hope you paint your house and paints half of a wall for 10 seconds and then dips out. He's just wandering around New Orleans post Katrina with a bunch of police officers dressed up. And so
my God.
my favorite thing is all right, the thing that I noticed when you were his fake black accent thing is basically Steven Seagal code switches to his environment. Wherever he is, and whoever's talking that way, he will change his accent to how that person is talking.
But
and this is
to
also
the
something.
extreme.
Yes. So this is something that's very interesting, and it's kind of blown my mind because there's only one other person I know who kind of does that, and that is my own mom. And I wonder if that's because she is around my grandma when she's watching Steven Seagal films. So that's a whole other thing for me to digest in my brain.
Wait, this is some serious personal, confusing.
Right, exactly. But regardless,
Are you
so,
saying that
for
Steven
example-
Seagal has directly affected your life?
Oh, 100%. 100%.
Oh Lord, I apologize for that.
But anyways,
I don't even know.
No one
the
should
thing
be
is,
influenced by
when he's
Seagal.
talking with the other police officers, he'll talk with a Cajun accent. Then when they start trying to do cop stuff, which they're in New Orleans, so obviously they're just running around arresting black people. When he talks to the black people, then he starts getting the black accent that you normally hear. Okay, but then there's one episode where he basically told one of the cop guys, he was apparently he blew his ACL out in his knee or whatever, and he was like, I'm gonna take you to the acupuncture. He takes him to the Chinese doctor. He starts talking with a Chinese accent. I'm
No.
not even joking. Yes.
No.
Yes. He just adapts at all times. The accent.
I'm telling you, he is
Please
a
stop.
comedian. I said this to him earlier.
He started doing acupuncture on the police officer.
Okay, no. Steven Seagal or whoever is directing that
Stop.
shit is a comedic genius. They have to be. They have to be in on
It's
it.
honestly,
Like, that is,
it's honestly one of
they
the
have to
greatest
be.
shows I've ever seen in my life.
We have to watch
astounding. I would gladly watch it with all of you. It is
There's no.
so hilarious.
I mean, Daniel, have you heard of a show called MILF Man?
Oh no!
I'm gonna say no.
I've heard everyone
I don't have
talking
that
about
channel.
Everyone's-
Sorry, I don't pay for that.
it. Sorry, I don't have
I don't pay for
Skinamax,
porn.
Zach.
Okay.
I don't.
Okay, I was gonna get you the basic thing. It's like those usual dating shows where it's like a mother's trying to find young guys to fuck, but the twist is all the young guys are the mother's sons.
Wait, like each other's
Yep.
like.
Yep.
Yes. Yep. Every mother and their son is in there.
And they're fucking like their friends, their mom's friends.
No, they're fucking each other's moms. They're trying to
Is
fuck
this
each other's
some-
moms.
What kind of fucking Jaden Smith ass? what kind of?
And
I
the
heard-
best part is like each family shares an apartment. So if some dude wants to fuck someone else's mom, they gotta kick somebody out to do it.
I'm beside myself.
Season
I
1,
heard-
episode
it's-
5.
I heard
It's
that
demented.
description.
Milf,
I
I'm
heard
a
that.
big boy now.
I heard that description, and for a second, I questioned whether reality TV is what radicalizes people to Islamic extremism, or if it was us just indiscriminately bombing people's villages.
Well, if you've ever played the game Civ,
I think it's 50-50.
50-50.
I'm gonna be
honest with you.
It's probably 50-50.
If I heard
If you've
Milf
ever
Manor
played
and
Civ-
then someone destroyed my village, I don't know, man. I'm just saying.
No, it's worse if someone destroys your village and you guys see what the Americans are doing. And the first thing you see is MILF Man, and you're like, Allah.
if you've ever played Civ, there's like 5 or 6 different ways to achieve victory, and military's one, culture is another. You got to spread the culture.
Yeah.
Man.
American culture is spread everywhere. That's one thing.
I wish it would stop.
All right, I'm hitting. Okay, I'm hitting the. This is the. Someone hit the horn. This is the buzzer for the last 5 minutes of the end of. I don't know what to call it.
Another
We're not at the actual conclusion, but we're so don't pause it yet. This is just like the.
No one believed we could do a podcast.
This is the. Yeah, all right, I'm leaving that in.
Suffering from success.
That's what our podcast should be called: is suffering from success.
The Big Show.
This is the official CCP
Sounds like a
podcast. Tuning in. So the first one we need to listen to is the new Lil Yachty
Oh, Lord.
album.
Yes. All right.
If you haven't listened to it yet, everyone needs to listen to it at least once.
The walk
get on
side
that
of the
assignment.
moon.
Ed, have you? Everyone, well, we're back live now. All that is cut out that we just talked about for 30 minutes. What is everyone's feelings on Lil Yachty?
I don't know about you, but I took the walk to Poland, so.
Yes. Ed, do you? Let me ask you this, Ed. Do you know anything about Lil Yachty? And if you do, what are your feelings on him?
He makes catchy music, but it's not my cup of tea.
Have you
Have you
heard his
listened to
latest
his
album?
new album?
What do you feel about the
I
state
have
of hip hop,
not.
and how do you feel about Lil Yachty?
Yes, let's get serious.
Let's get serious,
you-
all right?
If you haven't
This is a
heard it
hip hop
all
podcast
yet,
now.
yep. I'm not saying it's not.
Refresh yourself on Lil Yachty, listen to Broccoli, and then go right into this new album. Don't even think about it.
Take a huge old, big old. I want you to take a big old hog's leg and roll it up, light that thing, and then sit down and listen to the new Lil Yachty album that I'm predicting Barone will love when he hears it.
Has he heard?
approved.
Do we know if he has heard it yet? Because if not,
I feel like he
we need
hasn't.
we need to get him
I-
somewhere, and we need to be in there where he listens to it.
We need to be in the room when it starts getting played because I feel like because he loves classic rock and slow. This is giving away the game a little bit to Ed, but he likes Pink Floyd and
I was about to say, is Lil Yachty the Black Pink Floyd? Listen in to find out.
Listen into
Yeah.
next week.
The walk
All
side
right.
of the moon.
Yes, the walk side of the moon. All right. What are we calling the podcast? What are we signing out as?
Bantha Poodoo, baby.
Until next week on Bantha Poodoo.
Panther Poodoo.
The shit ship signing off.
The Big Show. Big Show.